matchup in CAA tournament history between these schools, and third matchup this year. Drexel in the home whites, William and Mary the road team in the greens, and we are underway as the Dragons will get the basketball first. Tribe played excellent defense in yesterday's win, holding College of Charleston to just 41 points, and they almost start the game with a steal. Boggs got her hands on the pass.
You'll see Drexel just have great movement without the basketball. You really have to stay with your player and jump to the ball.
Boggs got the block that time as Washington couldn't finish in tight. Hodson trying to operate off the bounce. The freshman, couple of spins, and it's William and Mary on the board first.
You wouldn't realize she was a freshman if you didn't say that. She plays with such composure out there and is really learning from her mentor, Bianca Boggs.
Full court pressure for the Tribe, looking to set up a trap. They get it, and they get the steal. But then Hannah Nyhill steals it right back. Extra feed sets up a wide open Aubrey Brown. She steps into the mid-range, and the smallest player on the floor gets Drexel a second chance. Metzel puts it home.
Great movement already from both teams. You can feel the intensity in the building. Both of these teams know exactly what has happened thus far today. A lot of upsets.
Nyhill now the steal. So she's got an offensive rebound and a theft. And Nyhill always patient on the offensive end. Metzel couldn't finish the reverse, clearing the rebound, Rogers.
And you'll see both of these teams that they'll push it when they have it, but they typically make good decisions of knowing when to get into their offensive sets.
Boggs works her way to the paint into traffic and finds Reynolds, who couldn't finish. What did Ed Swanson tell us about Victoria Reynolds? When she plays well, so too normally do the Tribe.
And she played very well yesterday, and so did the Tribe.
Nyhill beats her defender off the bounce, but can't put it home. And Reynolds the rebound.
You're seeing both clubs come off the dribble thus far. Hannah Nyhill there, and both doing a good job of penetrating those seams.
Boggs, the early release. And two Dragons there. It's Metzel that grabs the board.
Yeah, two teams that want to take really good care of the basketball. Turnovers and limiting of turnovers will be a key for this game.
Each team with a bucket. 2 3/4 minutes into this quarterfinal matchup. Step back, Washington passed up the shot. Greenberg stuck with it, and Washington converts.
Nice job by Washington there to maintain her composure, gather herself, and not rush that shot.
Oh, what a feed by Hodson. An easy deuce. It sets up for Rogers.
Such great vision, but it was the little ball fake that got her defender in the air and made that pass easy.
Denise Dillon hot as she gave it to Hannah Nyhill. Was a little late getting back defensively. Offensive foul as Brown went barreling into Gabby Rogers.
Gabby Rogers in great position there. She had her feet set. She knew that the pass was going to be made, but she held her position strong. Here you see Brown going right into her, unable to hit that jump stop.
Yesterday, William and Mary was able to win the turnover battle with College of Charleston. Turnovers have been a big issue for the Tribe on the year, averaging better than 17 giveaways per contest.
They took fantastic care of the basketball and really played a very clean game.
Had only 4 turnovers until the final 3 minutes. And some reserves came in. What a block here by Metzel. Starts to break the other way. Washington can't get the roll. And sticking with it was Ferrario. She was tied up, and the arrow belongs to William and Mary. Guess who? Bianca Boggs.
You saw Eva Hodson come off that flare screen. You see her come off the flare. It looks like she's open for a minute, but oh no, getting that swat and into transition.
Well, you don't see many rejections like that on three-point shots. Pollard a little indecisive. No harm. Gets it to Boggs. Oh, what a feed at the last instance. Rogers again.
Bianca Boggs just has such a high basketball IQ. She always seems to do the right thing out on the floor.
Nihil the extra feed to Ferrariu. Washington wide open. Now that one was way short. Good hustle by Metzel to keep it alive, but Rogers there again.
Rogers very active with her hands and her body, sliding into the right position.
Transition triple. Bianca Boggs.
We mentioned it early in the broadcast how Boggs had 32 in that double overtime win, and she's feeling it early here.
A 5-point William & Mary lead. Inside touch for Washington. Defense converges. Ferrariu can't finish, and Reynolds another rebound. Boy, what a trap by Drexel almost immediately, but a good job by Reynolds to keep her poised. Sets up the break. Boggs always calm. Reynolds with good position. Uses her size, but can't finish.
And she didn't quite get squared up to the rim there, a little bit over the shoulder and just in and out.
William & Mary, second game in a row, at least so far in this one. They have done a great job getting back, taking away the opponent's transition game. Metzel gets it to Greenberg. Tough finish.
See Bailey Greenberg quite often go into that key area. They like to isolate her and let her work with her back to the basket.
Pollard not on the same page with Hodson. Turnover will give it to Drexel when we return. It's the 7th-seeded William & Mary. Up early on second-seeded Drexel, and they lead by 3.
Ed Swanson says he thinks that she's probably the second best defensive player on the team, but she's been very active, and this is her first year starting, but boy, what contribution she's made this season.
And getting 4 points early against one of the best defenses, not just in the CAA, but in the country. Drexel excels on that end of the floor. Mara Hendrickson in for the first time for the Dragons, along with Kayla Bacon. Good hands by Hodson. 5 to shoot. Brown buries it from deep.
Aubrey Brown, she's one of those people that Coach Denise Dillon talks about. She's a great facilitator, but she can knock down the shot, sometimes too unselfish.
Hodson was wide open underneath. Good idea from Misha Jones, who just came in, but couldn't quite thread the needle. It stays with the try.
Aubrey Brown, Nikki Metzel, 2 of the players that Denise Dillon is hoping to get some contributions from, some of the unsung heroes for this Drexel Dragon team.
And Metzel, certainly not known as a three-point shooter, but had no choice but to pull the trigger there and buried it. Nice drive, Reynolds straight to the tin.
We've seen her play just really good basketball over the course of her time in Delaware.
Brown all the way to the paint, extra feed for Bacon. Into the corner, Brown again. Feeling it early.
Looks like Aubrey Brown likes the state of Delaware as well. Both of these teams from the north and the south, like in the middle states.
Brown just a 25% three-point shooter this year. Reynolds wants to attack off the bounce, drawing the contact and headed to the strike.
Yeah, that's another thing that's really fun about these tournaments. You're playing multiple games in a few days. You never know what player is going to step up as you see Reynolds take that shot.
Denise Dillon said Aubrey Brown often doesn't get the credit she deserves. She's just not going to fill up the score sheet normally. She knows her role, understands the offense, facilitates, always puts it in the perfect place. But when things were breaking down on that previous possession, she hit one, and it's funny how the confidence can grow.
You saw William & Mary on the last defensive possession in that zone defense. They were very active. They're switching up their defenses during different offensive sets for Drexel.
Did a great job with that last night against College of Charleston. Bacon, beautiful feed, and Metzel gets hammered. She earned that trip to the line. Hard contact from the sophomore Bailey Eichner.
Yeah, Eichner just not able to get back into position. She kind of went inside out, a little bit late on the rotation, and you see her going over the top.
Metzel, 83% free throw shooter, but Ed Swanson will take that miss. Swanson needs 2 more wins in this tournament to secure a 3rd consecutive winning season, something William & Mary has not done in a long time. Although if he gets 2, he might as well get the 3rd and go right to the NCAA tournament.
I think he would agree with that.
Boggs. Harassed by Bacon. Reynolds, nice cross-court feed, but Drexel, perfect rotation. And a foul, try to fight through the pick. A little too aggressive. That's a big one. That's number 2 on Aubrey Brown.
Yeah, this could be a big turn here in this quarter. As you see her trying to get through with just a little bit of a push with that forearm, and that's what the official saw.
Nice sell by Victoria Reynolds. She felt that second nudge and went staggering back, and sometimes that's how you draw the whistle. Final 2 minutes of this first quarter. Boggs draws a double team. Eichner didn't have her feet set, turns it over.
Another thing I really like about Bianca Boggs is she makes quick decisions. She makes good decisions, but she makes quick decisions. As soon as that double team came, you'll see here right away, she knows exactly where she's going with the ball. Eichner traveled, but Bianca Boggs always seems to make the right play.
Eichner, one of those mistakes out of inexperience that Ed Swanson talked about. He thinks she's going to be a very good player. Just doesn't have the game experience quite yet. Had a wide open Reynolds underneath. I think that's where she was eventually turning to pass it. There's a deflection and a steal as it ends up in the hands of Misha Jones. Great catch by Reynolds, and Hodson finishes.
That's about as pretty of a fast break as you're going to see. A great pinpoint pass and then great awareness by Reynolds to get the trailing Hodson.
And I like Hodson not going to the tin, hitting that 10-footer using the window.
You know who perfected that? Sue Bird perfected that many years ago. I don't have to go all the way to the rim. I can hit it off the glass as a point guard, and she lived off that.
Got a lot of mileage for sure. Bacon buries another tray for Drexel.
Really enjoying the pace of this game right now.
Reynolds looking to push again. Wide open, Nisha Jones couldn't hit it. And one and done for the Tribe.
I think offensive rebounding could really come into play here throughout the game. A lot of one and dones right now, but who can get those second and third chance opportunities and create extra possessions for your team?
Drexel thought about a 2-for-1. It wasn't there, so they'll try to get a good shot here. Metzel, what a catch. Got stuck. Hendrickson, the high arcing 3.
Mara Hendrickson, has she come along as a freshman early in the season? She didn't really score at all, and then she had a breakout game against the University of Delaware in this building.
10 seconds left of the first quarter. Boggs, with the clock winding down, finds Jones, back to Boggs at the buzzer, can't hit. And that's the end of the first quarter. Second seeded Drexel ending on a run. And it's the Dragons up by championship game. They feel like this is their time.
And their eyes must be wide open right now, looking at some of these upsets, because out of all the remaining teams in this tournament, besides William & Mary, the only team that they've lost to is Towson. They've beaten all the other teams every time they played them.
If Greenberg keeps finishing like that, they're going to play for a while. Nice lefty bang.
And I think that's a big thing we've seen this year with what Bailey Greenberg. She can shoot the three, she can shoot the mid-range jumper, but it's with her back to the basket and that isolation down low that she's really developed this year.
It's interesting, we talked this week with Denise Dillon. Is good hustle from both teams, and it trickles out of bounds. Will stay with the Tribe. But you would think that there'd be a little less pressure on Drexel this year because of the fact that they're not hosting. They weren't the top seed. But Denise Dillon sees it differently. She thinks they're so amped up to try to make amends for last year that her team is maybe more dialed in.
And not only more dialed in, sometimes they almost try too hard to accomplish their goals. That was a great take by Victoria Reynolds, continuing her nice afternoon.
Hendrickson again. And a weak side rebound grabbed by Birdsong. And William & Mary again looking to run.
Both teams, good spacing on the floor on their offensive sets, allowing them to penetrate and kick.
Reynolds tried to spin to the lane. Good hands from Bacon. Still 12 on the shot clock for William and Mary. Reynolds in the lane for a long time. Finds a wide open Hodson. And just like that, the Tribe back to within one.
Bailey Greenberg was on Eva Hodson and sunk a little low to basically triple that ball, and the kick out, no one closing out on the freshman.
First quarter felt like it was played at William and Mary's tempo. Second quarter, it's early, but feels a little bit more like it's at Drexel's pace.
And even though Drexel was winning after the first quarter,
Hendrickson again.
They seem like they've settled in a little bit better here in the second.
Hodson got stuck on the block. And tipped away by Hendrickson. What an active first half she's had. It'll stay with Ed Swanson's team.
Talked a lot about this Drexel Dragon defense, and one of the things that makes them so good, one is their commitment to play defense, but two, the way they're able to jump in those passing lanes. They communicate really well on defense. You'll constantly hear them talking, reading different screens, whether they should switch or stay, staying true to their defensive principles.
Pollard returns for William and Mary. Eileen Mescock in for the first time for Drexel, and Boggs finishes again.
Bianca Boggs showing off her handle there, a couple crossovers, and her athletic move to get up and in.
Every time they make a shot, they can pick up the tempo with that full court pressure. Mescock couldn't put it home, but Reynolds was still out of bounds, so it'll stay with Drexel. Some early minutes for Eileen Mescock, senior from Belgium. Denise Dillon saying she's about as friendly as they come, joking she'll have a conversation with anybody, even a baby who's not going to say anything back. Spinning to the tin, Metzel plus the foul.
Some early inspiration here from Metzel with some of her moves backs to the back. Look how she feels the defender, uses that drop step, seals her defender up and in. Now with a chance for an and one.
I'll see Hodson look like a freshman too often, but Metzel took her to school a little bit there. And the lead up to 5 for Drexel. William and Mary's done a nice job. Boggs gets an open look, short with it. And a foul on Pollard, reaching in to try to grab the board.
Drexel just making it very difficult for the Tribe right now with their active motion. They're doing a good job of laying bodies on people, boxing out, but it's their active hands jumping in passing lanes. When their offensive player that they're guarding receives the basketball, they're jumping to on-the-ball defense. Great display of team defense moving as one motion.
Greenberg and Washington back in for the Dragons. Anytime you can sit the player of the year for a couple minutes, get her back with an increased lead and let her knock down a three, you'll take it if you're Denise Dillon. Ed Swanson takes the timeout as the Dragons have increased the lead to 8.
And Coach Denise Dillon talked so much about her willingness to evolve her game and trust in the coaches to develop her. We talked a lot about her inside-out game now. She's really, you have to play her honestly.
Such a high basketball IQ, and you combine it with her work ethic. That's why you turn into the player she has. Boggs stuck again. Great defense by Washington. 8 to shoot for Reynolds. Hodson now. Nihill knocked it away. Mescock ends up with it. Washington with numbers. The stop and pop.
Right now, Drexel Dragons, their defense is producing offense. They're getting stops. They're getting hands in passing lanes, forcing William and Mary to turn it over. But the Tribe, as they're penetrating, instead of kicking, they're turning their back to the basket and allowing those doubles to come or the denying of the next pass.
Boggs trying to get herself going, but Drexel just swarming defensively. Pollard. And Greenberg the long rebound.
Now you're also seeing a lot of one and dones. Drexel Dragons just winning the battle of the boards.
Mescock along the outside. Hendrickson thought she might hoist it. Meskok, blow by for the bucket.
That was just a tough one-on-one matchup there. She had the ball strong, swung through, and 2 steps, 1 dribble, up and in.
Hodgson called for the offensive foul as Nyhill stepped in to take the charge.
Now, I've watched Hannah Nyhill now for 2 years. Her on-the-ball defense, she always seems to get in the right place at the right time, almost a thorn in the side of other point guards. She picks up the ball high. She is all over the opposing point guard. Denise Dillon saying she actually thought Hannah Nyhill should have been on the all-defensive team as well. She plays that caliber of defense.
Well, how many times do you hear all the other coaches around the league describe her as a pest? And they mean it in an endearing fashion, but they also mean she is a pest.
Her hands and her quickness and her commitment to playing the ball.
Good hands there from Gabby Rogers. William and Mary try to get out in transition, but again, Drexel's back. Rogers tried to fight through the contact and is eventually called for the foul.
And Billy Greenberg thought Gabby Rogers slammed into her, and I think she thought she drew that offensive charge. Good no call there, but it was the second time with the elbow that got Rogers the foul.
It kind of wrapped up Eileen Meskok. Meskok's had quite the first half off the bench.
Well, she must have heard you talking about her and saying, all right, I want to stay out here for a little while. You know, this is a CAA tournament.
Maybe she'll get a chance to talk with Bobby Broyles after the game. Keeps playing like that, she'll be our player of the game. Greenberg in the high post. Meskok again.
Miscommunication on offense or on defense for the Tribe. Great high-low and vision. Drexel's just being really patient in their offense, allowing the offense to have good spacing and taking what the defense gives them.
A 12-0 run for the Dragons, who have opened up a 14-point lead. Boggs, sensing the importance of the moment, gets it back to within 12.
She is so athletic. The way she can get up in the air, she double clutches there to make sure she has that shot. Just such a great athlete.
It's nice to have a tourniquet to stop the bleeding like a Bianca Bach. Backdoor cut, Washington, nice catch. Meskok again. Got herself stuck that time. 6 to shoot for Washington. Almost got the roll, but will head to the line.
Definitely some fancy footwork there by Washington. Not only with the crossover, but watch the step back. She crosses over, steps back, goes back again. It's that change of direction plus the change in acceleration and speed that allowed her to get to the rim.
Drexel has made 5 shots in a row from the field. Washington, her first trip to the free throw line. 76% on the season. Meskok gets a big hand from the Drexel fans as she sits down. Metzel returning for the Dragons.
Coach Denise Dillon talks a lot about Washington and Nyhill, and that's one of the reasons why their defense is so good, because of the quickness of Washington. Well, she's showing some great offense here this afternoon as well.
16 years on the sideline at Drexel. She's won in so many different ways, with offense, with defense, matchup zone, man-to-man. Can do it all.
And she adjusts with the people she has and the team she has. You know, she says everybody thinks that we're a three-point shooting team. She's like, that's not the case this year. We're having to do it in different ways and use our personnel.
Eichner drawing the contact, or I should say Harper Birdsong, and she will head to the line for a pair. And Denise Dillon not only saying everybody thinks we're a three-point shooting team, I think early in the season that included her team. She had to explain to them we're a little bit different than in years past. Although once Mara Hendrickson arrived on the scene and really started to figure it out in conference play, this became a much different offense.
It became a much different offense, and it also spread out that offense and allowed Billy Greenberg to do some of the things she does down low.
Final 3+ minutes. Drexel up by Baker's dozen here in this opening half. Metzel stripped. Reynolds wants to start the break. Washington called for the foul. And Drexel with plenty to give, only their second of this second quarter.
Pretty heads-up play there by Victoria Reynolds. She kind of gave a half-turn look to see Washington on her and then accelerated, knowing she could kind of use her body to block Washington. drawing that foul.
You got to have almost eyes in the back of your head against this Drexel team because so many bodies swarming after the ball. Rogers again can't get the roll. Nihill clears the rebound.
William & Mary really needs to put a couple of offensive possessions together.
Nihill getting everybody organized. Metzel, deep two. And Birdsong the board.
We always talk about closing out quarters and halves well. William & Mary needs to get a little bit of offense, and Bianca Boggs provides that every time her team needs it.
Boggs with 9. William & Mary back to within 11. 2 to go in this opening half. Nihill got the angle and drew the foul on Boggs. William & Mary's over the limit, so Nihill's headed to the strike.
A great catch by Nihill to know that as Bianca Boggs was closing out, the angle she took was a little bit too high on the top shoulder, and Nihill recognizing that right away, going to the left and drawing that foul.
Nihill, for guard, not a great free throw shooter. Got the roll that time. Only 66% on the season. Sophomore, top 10 in the CAA in steals, assists, and assist-to-turnover ratio. It's Drexel back up by 13.
She had such a great freshman year on the all-rookie team, and Coach Dillon talked a lot about her trying to maybe do a little too much and trying too hard in the beginning of the season, and starting to learn to let the game come to her throughout the year.
Birdsong couldn't free herself. Tries to go off the bounce. Tough finish.
These have been important possessions for the Tribe. They're starting to convert each time down, trying to close that gap before the half.
If they can get it to single digits, you have to feel pretty good if you're William & Mary. Little confusion here as Washington was looking back at her bench for a play call. 12 to shoot. Nihill with 5 to operate. To the 10. So much poise for Hannah Nihill.
She knew exactly how much time was on that shot clock. You saw the quick glance, and she put her head down, up and in, used her body to guard herself from the defender.
Well, that's a backbreaker here near the end of the half for William & Mary. See if they can respond. Reynolds passed up the 3 and gets the better look.
That was fantastic. She saw the closeout coming, swung through, right to the middle. Nice look.
And got the 2 for 1. 6-second differential, so the Tribe should get one more possession. Drexel's made 6 of its last 7 shots to open up an 11-point lead. Nihill again with the shot clock winding down. Greenberg's going to have to put it up. Oh, my. They're going to check the monitor to make sure that one was good. Sure looked like it to the naked eye.
Yeah, it looked good to me. I mean, one thing Drexel does so well is they keep their poise as the shot clock winds down. Look at Bailey Greenberg. She looks for her teammates. It's not there. Quick glance up. She knows how much time there is. And they're going to make sure it's not a shot clock violation by going over to the monitor.
Our officials, Billy Smith, Nikesha Thompson, and Kathy Lynch. That's a quick look. Pretty obvious. Denise Dillon talking about getting one more stop here to close out this first half.
And with 4.9 seconds, a lot of times basketball players will come and just launch it at half court, but that's plenty of time to get all the way to the rim. You can get down the court in 5 seconds.
We double checked not only that it was good, but whether it was a 2 or a 3. She was about 3 feet inside the arc, so I'm pretty sure that was a 2. Free timeout for Ed Swanson at least. And guess who gets the ball? Boggs. From half court. And Drexel, really strong defense in that second quarter to take a 13-point lead into intermission.
Yeah, I thought they did a great job with their spacing, combination of shooting outside, getting to the rim, but it was their defense that propelled them.
Bobby Broyles standing by with Drexel head coach Denise Dillon.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Yeah, Coach, shooting 61% in the first half. Variety of players contributing. Just talk.
They seem pretty confident on the offensive end today.
William & Mary will start the second half with the basketball. Hodson was quiet over those first 20 minutes. And Boggs a near turnover. Good hustle by Rogers. Just feels sometimes like there's 6 Dragons on the floor defensively as Metzel kicked it.
And that's what it looks like when you move as one unit, and it's almost like an ebb and flow, an inside out. You're helping, you're recovering, your hands are up as soon as they pick it up. You know, and Metzel just showing how much space she can take up and getting that kick.
Kick save at Butte. Boggs the blow by, but Metzel still got a piece. Starts the break. Washington in stride from Nihil.
And that's a new element for the Dragons. You see one Speedy Gonzalez to the next. Nihil to Washington. What a great release.
Sophomore to a freshman. Reynolds, big answer. 3 missed everything. And another one and done for William & Mary.
And the trap they can't fall into, the Tribe, is to try to rush their shots, to crawl all back into it all at once.
A great hustle by Greenberg. Nihil out to Washington. And Boggs the board.
Tribe just needs to settle down into their offense, move the basketball, reverse the basketball. They always have good offensive movement.
Double team. Hodson passed up the 3. And the foul called against Metzel, who was a little late stepping over trying to take the charge.
Here you see Hodson going in, and she wasn't too happy with the what she thought was a flop. She's like, what's that right there?
Look at the size differential. I don't think Hodson's doing that to Metzel. Boggs trying to get going. Everything but the finish.
Bailey Greenberg with a little limbo move there to avoid the hand.
Threading the needle. Nihil to Metzel. And an early timeout called by Ed Swanson. Drexel opening up the lead to 17. Less than a minute and a half into the third quarter.
And 2 speedy players out there, and then you see Metzel able to gain her composure up and in.
Great footwork from Metzel. And Drexel with a 47-30 lead. Winner of this one gets the winner of our final quarterfinal game as Boggs fouled by Nihil. That comes up next. It'll be 6-seeded Northeastern taking on number 3 seed UNCW. One semifinal game is set already, and I don't think many were anticipating this matchup as Towson will take on Hofstra.
Yeah, unbelievable tournament thus far. Anything can happen was kind of the theme coming in, and it's proving to be true.
2-time defending champs went out yesterday in the opening round. The regular season champs go down as a steal from Aubrey Brown for Drexel.
Aubrey Brown showing a great handle there of maintaining possession of that basketball. That's what all those ball handling drills do, no matter what position you play.
And then the host school, Delaware, falling to Towson as a foul will send Metzel to the free throw line.
Drexel is just being so efficient on offense. They're trying to get to the rim. They're taking good shots. Here you just see the penetration, feeling the defender squaring up fully and drawing that foul.
Metzel has 8 points now in this game. Misha Jones back in. She's a sharpshooter.
And Nikki Metzel has worked so hard on her craft, and they really need her increased input this year. Denise Dillon saying the coaches challenged her, and she really put the work in this summer and all throughout the season.
Hodson turned it over. Good hands from Metzel. What a game she's had.
She's really just been fantastic.
Washington thought about it. Instead, will set it up. Brown hit 2 in the first half. Tries another here. And Washington went over the back of Boggs.
Good position there by Boggs, crashing the boards for Drexel. Just doing a good job with their spacing again, moving without the basketball. Washington trying to crash, but that's what happens when you're in good position like Bianca Boggs was.
Only the second foul on Washington. It's the third team foul on Drexel already in this third quarter. William & Mary obviously would love to score some points with the clock stopped at the free throw line.
If there's a chance for them to try to get to the rim to draw some fouls, that would do them well. You stop that clock.
Reynolds tried it, but Mescock blocked it and went out of bounds off of Reynolds.
Now you see William & Mary, they're going to pick up about full court here to try to make it difficult for Drexel to get into their offense, but also maybe try to get a quick steal.
Washington sits down for the Dragons. Kayla Bacon back in. And Nihill able to handle the pressure with ease. Drexel does such a good job spacing the floor.
They really do, and they keep their composure. They can take their time.
A foul as Metzel got the step on Hodson, and she gave the contact. That's number 3 on the freshman of the year.
Yeah, just such a nice roll to the basket here. You see Brown use the screen. Metzel open up towards the basket with the pick and roll, sealing the defender.
I hear coaches talk about spacing all the time. That's what it can create.
It's absolutely right, and that's why it was so important earlier when we were talking about Mara Hendrickson able to hit some of those outside shots, because not only did it increase that spacing, but it allowed players like Bailey Greenberg to almost play like a 4-out, 1-in look where she can really isolate her defender.
It's a very generous give of free throws there. Didn't think she actually even had the ball yet, but she'll take it and makes a pair.
Now Drexel with a 20-point lead and being a little bit comfortable, not so far from home. One of the closest teams to this site.
Closest team now.
Yeah.
The whole school is out, although Towson not too far away either, about an hour 10 from this campus. Drexel about 40, 45 right in the city of brotherly love as Rogers hits one for the free throw line.
And that's pretty interesting, because if for some reason it ends up being a Towson Drexel final, this is right smack in the middle.
A true neutral floor. Mid-range, Mescaw can't get the roll. Rogers clears the rebound.
It's a really good opportunity for the Tribe here to try to cut into this lead.
Hodson hits a trailing Reynolds. Boggs doubled and walked. Just trying to do a little too much, and you don't see Bianca Boggs do that very often.
Now she was trying to split this double. I think she thought she had a little more room. She was trying to step through, but good job by Aubrey Brown to keep her foot together, and that's what you need to do when you're trying to get that double team.
Still 6 left in the third quarter. The deficit 18 for William & Mary. Greenberg, the player of the year, back in for the Dragons. Mescock wide open. Good rebound from Reynolds.
And really lucky there. Misha Jones really creeping in too low. Wasn't able to close out there.
Reynolds tried to go backdoor. Hendrickson was there. So Hodson will try to go off the bounce, and she gets the foul.
That's really what they need to try to do. Try to get to the rim, stop that clock, earn some points from the free throw line. There you see her put in her left hand, back to her right.
As Hodson said, he coached Eva Hodson hard this year because she's so mentally tough. That allowed her learning process to be expedited a little bit. But in his words, I'm sure I've not always been her favorite person or her BFF, but she knows that he wants the best for her, and a good kid really gets it.
He said she's so coachable, she wants to get better, and she's becoming a leader because of it.
Already has become more vocal in the tail end of her freshman year, and Swanson also gave credit to his upperclassmen for allowing that.
Well, Bianca Boggs is one of, obviously, the leader of the team, but she leads in a quiet way, so sometimes you also need that vocal leader.
70 shoot for Washington. The step back, deep 2. All of a sudden, the Dragons going cold from the field, and it'll be William & Mary ball when we come back halfway through this third quarter. Second-seeded Drexel up 16, trying to get spot number 3 in tomorrow's semifinal round. Drexel Dragons taking the floor again, up 16 midway through the third quarter. Neither team finding much offensive success so far in the second half. Just 3 combined field goals, which I think is okay with a team with a 16-point lead.
Yeah, both teams going cold. William & Mary shooting 20% and Drexel under 30%.
Boggs has 9 points, but Drexel has not allowed her many shots. Reynolds trying to pick up the slack, and Greenberg altered it and then grabbed the rebound.
That was a great seal by Reynolds as well. Perfectly placed pass, just didn't have the finish.
Everything but. Meanwhile, this is what makes Drexel such a tough team to come back on, because their regular offense will take it deep into the shot clock, like here for Metzel.
Total miscommunication there on defense for William & Mary. Starting to see some of that inconsistency in the trade-offs, not knowing if they're going to switch and pass off, if they're trying to get through and trail. Ended in 2 points for Drexel.
Is this the point in the game where playing yesterday starts to take an impact on your legs?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, 2 games in 2 days, no. I think it's just more things aren't going right. I think it's more that, body language and mentality right now.
Washington got the steal that time for Drexel. And again, the Dragons will run some offense.
Especially because the Tribe, they weren't in like a heated, really tightly contested game. They had a pretty easy way with it yesterday.
Foul away from the ball. That'll go on Bailey Eichner. And her second. Third team foul on William & Mary.
Eichner was really trying to stop that cut. You see her trying to get through and wasn't able to get over that screen with Washington. I don't know. I think can let that one play on, but she was fighting hard. She couldn't trail and then tried to step through.
Boggs the near steal. Good hands by Misha Jones. Running with Reynolds. Rogers trailing the play. Couldn't finish. Greenberg again there for the board.
And you're right, the Dragons have such a luxury just to get into their offensive set, take their time, not taking the air out of the ball, but they're going to use the shot clock, they're going to move, they're going to make the Tribe play a full set of defense.
Boggs starting to get real aggressive here. Metzel again finding a wide open Washington. And it's a 21-point Drexel lead.
And you see Bianca Boggs trying to do everything she can, trying to help in and dig on that, but can't leave the 3 wide open.
Largest of the game for the Dragons. Boggs cuts into it a bit. But you got to get the stops on this end. They were doing it early in the third quarter, but Drexel's offense has found a rhythm again.
And if you can get those stops and then try to stop the clock by driving to the rim, I mean, there's ways to start chipping away at this thing.
8 to shoot. Washington calls for the ball screen. Bacon couldn't get it over the rim. Boggs, tough rebound. Tie up, keeps it with Drexel.
A great job by Bacon and Greenberg to get their hands in there to get that possession back for Drexel.
Denise Dillon wanted to have a word with Kayla Bacon, but as she did, she had to call the play first. So she held Bacon up for a second.
And if my mouth reading is up to par, I think she was saying, hey, see what you did there? I don't actually want you to do that. But good job, but I don't actually want you to do that.
It is funny the way that Denise Dillon does a nice job of delivering a negative, but with a positive tone mixed in.
And one of the most well-respected coaches in the league. She makes such great adjustments, been doing it a long time, and her teams are always very well prepared.
Kickball keeps it with William & Mary. Played for a great college coach at Villanova, Harry Peretta. Legend of the game.
He sure is. And his 41st year with the Wildcats. I think they're waiting to see what their postseason might look like.
Nihill, another steal as Drexel trying to go deeper into its postseason. Brown. Nice spin. plus the foul, Aubrey Brown.
Well, that was pretty fundamental right there. The way she was able to get into the inside of the lane, plant that foot, spin dribble with her right hand. Look how she spins, plants, gets it in her left hand and up, really attacking.
Brown, one of 2 Drexel players in school history to record triple-double. She did it last year at College of Charleston, 10 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists. So she can do a little bit of everything and certainly has been in, especially on the offense today. Reynolds brings William & Mary back to within 19.
Yeah, those are what you call those glue players, you know. They do a lot of the little things. Sometimes it shows up in the stat sheet, sometimes it doesn't. She's very team-oriented, so to hear that 11 assists, it would be no surprise to anybody who watches Drexel basketball.
The offense has kind of run through her this year. Metzel doing a lot of damage today. She walked that time, though. Turnover gives it back to the Tribe, just over a minute remaining in the third quarter.
Yeah, I think she likes the matchup. She's been very assertive. She's been attacking the rim. Really good footwork around the basket.
Tribe down 19. If they're going to make a run, it has to come soon. Jones passed up the 3 into the mid-range. And another weak side rebound for Drexel. It's been all one and done for William & Mary.
Yeah, there's been a lid on it here in the third.
Again, the decision-making from Brown. Could have given it to the freshman. Probably would have taken that shot, but time and score. Why not make sure you get a good one? And Brown creates her own. And Metzel the tie-up, so at least the hustle will get Drexel the ball to start the fourth quarter. William & Mary gets it here.
And this could be a really important basket for the Tribe. They can end on a good note, come out and get some stops early. Maybe you get back in it. And for Drexel, you're just looking to keep the momentum going your way.
Hendrickson sits down. Bacon returns. Hodson on the run. Boggs with some room to clear out. Passed it up, though, and they don't even get a shot. Reynolds, though, steals it back, and that one was late. They count it, but I think they'll review that.
I think he called a foul, actually. I thought that the official called a foul.
Well, they'll come in to have a conversation about it. Drexel had quite a third quarter as Washington really filled it up for the Dragons. But right now the conversation is about this last bucket. We'll take a break, let you know how it works out when we return. Drexel up 19 for now. So the
Interesting.
You learn something new in basketball all the time. The third quarter might not be over yet. For now, it's 57-40. Drexel leading William and Mary. They called a foul. Good eyes, Christine. You were all over that. Just before the buzzer. They are now checking to see if the foul came before the buzzer or not. If it did, it would be an and one and a free throw for Reynolds. But we were just discussing, and I don't know this rule to be quite frank, as they're going to put .4 back on the clock. We'll get an explanation here. So the basket is good. Foul came with .4. We were talking about whether once the foul occurs, does the shot still have to leave her hand before the buzzer? Sounds evidently not, because it clearly did not, but the foul came first.
And that's what I thought, because if you call the foul, anything that happens after that is part of the play, because the play stops on the foul, or at least the clock would stop.
So Reynolds hits the free throw. The and one brings William and Mary to within 16, so a little momentum and reason to believe for the Tribe. Drexel, though, still in control, trying to get spot number 3 in tomorrow's semifinals. This is the CAA Women's Basketball Championship. Full of the first 3 games in our quarterfinal quadruple header from the campus of the University of Delaware CAA Women's Basketball Championship. I'm Matt Janis with Christine Corimata. Drexel in the white jerseys as the higher seed. They have taken care of business right from the start as Metzel adds to the advantage. Not much has gone to script, though, today. The whole school, Delaware lost, and for the first time ever, the top seed in this tournament went down to the quarterfinals as Rogers misses again, and a foul against William and Mary.
And that was actually William and Mary's first offensive rebound of this basketball game. Up to that point, no offensive rebounds. But Rogers trying to keep the hopes alive for the Tribe, but no go.
Good effort to get the second chance opportunity as Drexel breaks the pressure with ease.
Like you said earlier, it is very difficult to come back from a deficit when you're playing against a team that uses the shot clock so well. They move without the basketball, they are patient, and they just tend to pick you apart.
A little too much mustard on that pass from Kashana Washington. Gives it back to the Tribe.
Nice.
A lot of times you see teams kind of have to leave their offense to work some clock, and Drexel just doesn't have to do it.
Yeah, and Drexel not taking any chances. I mean, they're denying the inbounds, picking up full court. They're not comfortable at any point.
Hey, William and Mary knows something about comebacks in this building. 3 years ago, the Tribe erased an 18-point fourth quarter deficit against Delaware, holding the Blue Ends to 4 fourth quarter points en route to a win that Ed Swanson called afterwards one of his most satisfying as a head coach. Hodson, though, can't hit here, and Metzel pulls down the rebound.
And don't think these coaches don't know the history of other teams as well. Very well prepared, very good history of the conference and all the teams in it.
Tough catch by Metzel. And most impressive today, Drexel's been able to do it without Greenberg having a big game. Metzel has picked up the slack, couldn't finish that time, and crossed the rebound.
And Greenberg's been solid. I mean, she's taken what she's been given. She hasn't forced anything, but the offense hasn't really gone through her today.
Krause short with the long-range shot. Boggs, beautiful follow.
Bianca Boggs, again, always just seems to be in the right place at the right time because of effort, not because it just happens to be so. She has an understanding and anticipation of going after the basketball.
There's that combination of her effort along with her high basketball IQ. 10 to shoot. Good hands from William and Mary. Nihil gonna let it fly. And back to the Tribe within 16, trying to build a little momentum to start a comeback. And Denise Still's not going to waste any time. She goes back to her point guard, Aubrey Brown. Meanwhile, Harper Birdsong, the three-point specialist, back in for William and Mary. Ed Swanson says he's got players that can go defense for offense. He's got plenty of offense in his arsenal. Just have had a hard time making shots today.
Okay, so he typically goes about 8 deep, but this year he's gone to 9 and 10, trying to find some of those mixes of consistency.
also said he's had to play the defense for offense game much earlier than he's used to. Jones, good hustle to get that one back. 5 to shoot for Boggs. Another split. Oh, and the foul. What a take.
She is just so smooth, always in rhythm. You see how she split the ball here? Watch how she steps through. Look what she does. She crosses over, steps through, gets back to the other hand, up with her left. This is why ball handling is so important no matter what position you play. She can do it with ease. She doesn't have to think about it. She could go right or left on the dribble, but she can go right or left to the basket as well, and trying to keep her team in there.
Don't look now, but an excellent free throw shooter. Boggs at the stripe, chance to get this back to 13, which feels like it's within striking distance.
And then you get back on defense, you get some stops, and sometimes crazy things happen.
Boggs does her part, and Denise Dillon wants to halt the momentum right away. The Drexel head coach takes a timeout, but Ed Swanson's team has a little bit of reason to believe. Back to within 13, still almost 7 minutes to play in this CAA quarterfinal. Still one more game to go as UNCW, the 3 seed, will take on 6-seeded Northeastern in our nightcap coming up after this one.
Yeah, really exciting game there. Jess Janko for Northeastern. All-time pretty much everything for the Huskies. And UNCW Seahawks, Sharita Parker, the transfer from Rutgers, averaging over 15 points per game. Should be a great one.
Bailey Greenberg couldn't quite gather it clean. Would have had a layup. Still, her persistence leading to a trip to the free throw line and a nice timeout and a play well drawn up by Denise Dillon and company.
And Bailey Greenberg with a quiet 10 points here. I think a lot of people would be very happy with 10 points, but doing what she needs to do, doing what her team needs her to do today.
And 8 rebounds certainly has helped matters. Closing in on a double-double, got the lead back up to 15. Pollard, good lob for Reynolds. Not sure why she dribbled it. Pollard into the mid-range. And it ends up in the hands of Greenberg, rebound number 9.
Felt that time they went from a really good shot or a good opportunity to a long ball.
And not even a three-pointer.
Not even.
That's today's basketball. Pass up a layup for a three-point shot.
That's right.
Metzel driving hard over Kraus. Gets the roll.
It's just been such a great matchup for Nikki Metzel, and you could see the confidence in her eyes. She knows what she's going to do with the basketball. She puts it on the floor. She feels good about what she's doing around the basket and leading the way for the Dragons.
Wide open look and knocking it down. Reynolds back to within 14. Greenberg somehow popped wide open against that press, and Drexel will bleed some clock.
Time definitely not on the Tribe's side here, but they need to get some stops.
Nihill finds Metzel wide open.
And that's what the Dragons do to opponents and wear them down. The back screen, no communication, no switch, easy layup on the weak side.
Well, I thought that was a double dribble from Reynolds. Boggs trying to bring her team back, gets them a little closer. And Ed Swanson wants a timeout. So Drexel's lead still at 14. Denise Dillon, Amy Mallon and company.
How freshmen go to seniors and how they develop as players.
And it's an odd connection, a Villanova grad and a St. Joe's grad. You don't see them get along too well. It's called the Holy War in these parts. Again, Drexel able to break the pressure. Had a foul away from the ball. A little too much contact that time from Rogers. I tell you, if Drexel can hold on here, quite a battle coming next. UNCW and Northeastern. Northeastern comes in with a lot of confidence, and they stood toe-to-toe with Drexel during the regular season. Meanwhile, UNCW, Drexel was the only team that beat them on their home floor all year.
Yeah, it's really a lot of intriguing storylines still left to play out here in the CA tournament.
Washington couldn't turn the corner. Brown somehow found an avenue to slither through and will head to the line.
And I think the way that Aubrey Brown and Nikki Metzel have been able to kind of pick apart some of these seams here, and you see her just enough of a swing of the basketball to get her body through. A little bit late for Rogers.
Nihill returns. One more coming at the line for Brown. At one point, if you're Denise Dillon, probably not yet, 15 with 4 1/4 to go, but at what point do you try to start to get some players off their feet, rest up for not only tomorrow, but potentially the next 2 days?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're talking more under 2, under a minute and a half, just because, I mean, this game is not decided yet. It seems like it is, but yeah, probably under 2.
Us media folk and fans are always like, pull them now, get them out, get them rested. Coaches are worried about just trying to win this one. There's a 3-second violation. Going to make it come maybe a little bit sooner for Dillon and company.
It's just really interesting seeing, the Tribe play yesterday, the Tribe play today, but the defense from Drexel have really made things difficult for William & Mary.
Nihill, so much quickness, but couldn't finish.
It's interesting. She went to her right hand there. Wondering why she didn't keep it in her left.
Rogers powering up. Nice banker. Boy, Drexel is so tough to trap because they throw it over the top, and it results in Metzel getting fouled.
Great vision there. Again, another quick decision. You know that they drill this because they know exactly where their teammate is going to be. When that ball comes up, Hannah Nihill with a shot right to Nikki Metzel, knowing she'll be on that opposite block. Great pass.
You got Brown and Mescock with their size. You can't trap them. They go right over the top. And then somebody you figure maybe you can trap, Metzel, she's always thinking one step ahead and just gets rid of it before the defense can arrive. So the lead back up to 16 for Drexel. Chandler Smith, senior, big part of this program. It's a chance to come in. Ed Swanson said, Smith's been a big part of this team. It's just matchup driven, and this is a tough matchup for her. Knew she wasn't going to get a lot of time today. Boggs stepped through, couldn't finish.
He also talked to, they changed a lot of their offensive principles this year, and she had to play 3 years behind one of the greats for William & Mary, Abby Rendell. And, it just sometimes things and timing don't work out.
Rendell's so talented. She had a triple-double a couple of years ago and suffered through some injuries during her career. Otherwise, she might have dominated this league. Mescock, again, what a day for Elin Mescock.
And it's everything going right now for these Dragons and feeling pretty good about themselves.
Reynolds can't convert. Hodson keeps it alive. And a foul called against Drexel. Eileen Mescock, Belgium native, missed the entire 2017 season due to injury. Was slow getting back last year. Was limited early this year, not so much because of the injury, just trying to gain her footing back in the rotation, but has here down the stretch.
And you can just tell the way the coaching staff speaks of some of these players and what they've meant to the program, whether their name is in highlights or not, just what they mean as a teammate and a player to just be a part of the team to help everybody achieve their goal.
Not sure if Jones called bank on that one or not, but almost used the window. Instead, it'll be a foul. And we'll walk the length free throws for Drexel.
And you see the shot there, and not sure the bank was called, but Bianca Boggs taking a shot there into her gut. She's gotten banged up a little bit here today, but her effort has just been outstanding. Such a great player in this conference, and always really enjoyed watching her play because of the way she goes about her business.
This was a finalist for the Senior Class Award, which encourages students to use their platform of athletics to make a positive impact as leaders in their communities. Boggs volunteers her time helping adults with special needs with a March of Dimes. And with the American Cancer Association, pretty impressive resume for a young woman who's also an excellent student and an excellent basketball player as Hodgson knocks one down.
Ed Swanson talked so highly of her, said she never realized how good she could be, but he did.
Yeah, it's still in her junior year. He had opposing coaches asking him, does Bianca realize she's the best player on the floor? And Swanson said, no, that's the problem right now. But early in her junior year, she finally figured it out. And boy, what a fantastic final 2 years it was. Hendrickson could not convert. Boggs, one more rebound. It's an emotional time. You've been through it. As you know, the clock winding down on your career.
You know, conference tournaments are the best, but they're also the worst because so many of these players are playing their last career game, and a lot of emotions go along with that.
It's like a Dickens novel come to life as a foul given will send Misha Jones to the free throw line. Anytime I'm making a Tale of Two Cities reference, you know the game's gotten out of hand.
Hey, you were an English major.
Jones, Manassas Park, Virginia native, will also have her college career end tonight. Basketball family. Her uncle played at Appalachian State. She had some injuries. Missed all of 2017. They're going to take out Nikki Metzel. Big round of applause from the Drexel fans. And Aubrey Brown will head out as well for the Dragons. Jones, though, got her moment on senior day. Career high 20 points. That's a way to go out at the Catlett Center. Meanwhile, the seniors will depart for William and Mary. And high fives and hugs from Ed Swanson, their head coach.
And really nice gesture here by Ed Swanson to get those seniors out, to give them an ovation. You know, one of the greatest players to play for William and Mary, Bianca Boggs. He says she is the model of what he hopes every William and Mary player could be.
He said he'll talk about Bianca Boggs for a long time to come, explaining what it means to achieve inside of this program. Final minute 15. Mescock, one pass too many. Reynolds back to within 11, 57 seconds to go. It's amazing what Drexel can do because it feels like the margin is much wider than it actually is, doesn't it?
It really does. And, you know, William and Mary not choosing to foul and trying to shorten up this game.
Nihil again, one pass too many. Ashley Taylor getting to play only her 23rd career game, but both in this CAA tournament. Libby Underwood also getting an opportunity in the ball game. Taylor. And Ferrari who grabs the rebound. Drexel can dribble out the clock. So overall, I think you have to be pretty satisfied if you're Denise Dillon.
I think so. I think the efficiency in that first half was phenomenal, and they followed through with their game plan.
Drexel up double digits at the half, and they win going away. 71-60 victory, and they march on to tomorrow's semifinal round, the highest remaining seed in the CAA Women's Basketball Championship. And for Ed Swanson and company, obviously a frustrating end to the season. They fall a game under 500 to close things out, but strong finish after a slow start to the year.
And they had some really great moments during this season, some injuries and inconsistencies, but a really solid season for the Tribe.
Now Drexel looking like a team that knows it still has business to take care of.